All right, guys, welcome back. This is season 3, episode 6 of the Lure Fishing Podcast. And today we're going to be talking Lake Challenge. Just finished it, mate, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Have you recovered?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel fine. I was dreading the drive home, but as you know, I flew home. It was lovely. That Sunday night driving and picking your route yourself rather than trusting the sat nav certainly made a hell of a difference.
That's the only issue with these comps, isn't it? It's a big ask for competitors because everyone drives most people drive for such a long way. But
Yeah.
nature of the beast, I suppose. Mate, my guts haven't recovered.
I'm glad you said that because mine are still doing cartwheels.
Is it the Polish
Not-
pastry?
I think it probably contributes. I mean, the fact that we ate a chili at 10 o'clock at night on Saturday probably didn't help as well. There's contributing factors all across the board.
Mate, when I got home Sunday night, I actually polished off 2 or 3 more.
Of the chilies?
No.
Oh, the pastries?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was carved up beyond belief.
Do you know what? I'm gutted because I'd intended to take a few of the little mini pizzas for the road home, and I just forgot. Got chatting to people, and then by the time I turned around, they was all disappeared. So I starved on the way home.
There was enough to go round.
Mm.
Right. Rather than talk about our diet and our bowel problems, should we get stuck into the lure fishing?
I think so. I think it's probably a good move.
Okay. Should we give everybody a recap of how the tournament was organised and after the first 2 days?
Yeah. I think we did discuss it in a previous podcast. The first part back in, was it June or May? June?
End of May, wasn't it? I think.
Was it end of May? Yeah. I think we have discussed it, but for a little bit of a recap, it didn't go exactly to plan, did it?
No. Okay. So Lake Challenge is Adrian changes the format every year, and last year it was a 3-day on the bounce comp, which we won. So this year it was a 4-day comp, 2 days end of May, beginning of June, can't remember when, and the weekend just gone. So the card was cumulative, so you could keep adding to it, which is a very good way of doing it because it just means big fish have to be caught. So just to recap, we had a tech cluster, didn't we? My new tech is designed for the layout was designed for the kayak. So I hastily tried to work out how I could rig it to a boat. And I had planned to get out on the Thursday, Friday, and the comp was starting on the Saturday. Thursday, no boats were allowed out because it was too windy on Rutland. Friday, I was rushing because you were turning up, weren't you, midday? So I tried to get out first and set the tech up. And the strangest thing happened is these new Garmin transducers will actually reverse depending which way
they're a bit too clever for their own good, aren't they? That's
yeah, and I didn't realise they did this. So new setup on the boat. Basically, to cut a long story short, for a day and a half, we had things reversing, and it completely confused us, didn't it? So we were seeing the same fish.
It worked for me perfectly because Andy was spotting these fish, and he's like, there's a big fish you ever cast it. And for those of you know, the way it works generally, there's no point in 2 people casting the same fish. So if Andy's got a fish lined up and he's on the front of the boat or the back of the boat, wherever he happens to be, if I'm on the opposite side, I'd very often look behind and see if I could find a secondary fish to ever go at. It's like, this is brilliant. Every time Andy's got a fish lined up in front, I've got one directly behind him. I'm casting that. This is just working out fantastically.
Same bloody fish, wasn't it?
Same bloody fish, because mine was looking the right way and Andy's was looking backwards. So Andy was casting at nothing and I was casting at the fish that Andy was trying to cast at.
The problem was I kept checking with my lure and it would line it up, and then half an hour later, I couldn't see a lure, and I'm thinking, this is crazy. What's going on? Of course, as we were standing up to turn we had 2 separate scopes. The boat is tilting, and the transducer's flipping. So it was a very easy way to rectify it. Just tilt the bloody things right up, and that solved the problem. But it was interesting, wasn't it? Sort of the last hour or two, once we got it a bit more organised, second day, had 5 zander in an hour. Bang, 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 bang.
And it just worked how it was meant to work.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, maybe that cost us the whole thing.
Oh, hugely. I think it's probably the biggest contributing factor.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into it, I suppose, once we get on to the second part, but the zander fishing in the first part was exponentially easier than the zander fishing in the second part.
Yeah, and we kind of couldn't capitalise because of the
No.
the tech.
But we wasn't in a terrible position, was we? By the end of the first half, earlier in the year, we had a pike card of like 219. I think we had a 113 and a 106, which both big fish by anyone's standards. As it turned out, not big enough for this competition because there was some insanely big pike caught, but big fish. And we had a Xander card, didn't we? Not a good Xander card, but we had a Xander card. And the reality of it is, we was just thinking if we can get into the second half and find the perch, it was game on.
Exactly. We had the second largest pike card and fourth largest Xander card, I think, at the end of day 2. However, we knew the Xander card was nowhere near, didn't we? We knew that from experience, yeah. So we started on Saturday knowing that we had to catch the perch. That actually, we can't give too much away because we spent a lot of time sussing this out, and we now feel we got somewhere. And other people basically we're not going to give it away because they've got to put the time in. I spent 2 days before the comp, didn't I, doing laps around the resi and sussing out where pockets of perch were. And then during the third day, which was the first day of this weekend, how many rods did we have in the boat?
A dozen rods. There are a dozen rods all set up with different techniques on to try and catch perch.
Because we knew that there'd be one or two methods that they would go for, and there'd be lots of methods that they just wouldn't work. So we just...
Which is exactly true on a day, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went through so many different techniques, didn't we? And then suddenly we got them to respond. Yep. And that's perch fishing in a nutshell. Once you work it out, it's straightforward.
Yeah.
As long as you locate. So anyway, end of the third day. Well, there were several spots where I knew these perch would be, but you've got to get your timings right. So the first spot would have been really good, but it wasn't quite right, was it?
No, we were seeing the odd fish, but we wasn't seeing that many. It just didn't feel right. I think sometimes as an angler, you just get a feeling, and it just didn't feel like we was going to catch them from there.
Well, I got bitten off by a pike, and I think we decided to go straight from that, didn't we? Because it didn't feel quite as perch as we wanted it to be. Then we bounced around the resi, and we found a spot. You had one.
Yeah, I had a 47.
Yeah.
Just blind casting, doing what I like to do. I like to cast small shads, just chucked it long, and it took it on the drop.
And then you followed it up with a Xander, which was ironic.
Yeah.
So I think we had a small upgrade, didn't we, from that Xander, which was good.
Yeah, a couple of 3 centimeters, something like that. Yeah.
So that put us in good spirits, and then we went bouncing around the resi, and then we were just looking, weren't we, prospecting? Well, we're not prospecting. We knew where to go. Then we found a pot of perch. I had one first cast on a bait that I'm not going to talk about, and then, but the bloody things were impossible to catch after that, weren't they?
It's like you had windows. You had windows to catch them. If you didn't get it right with the right bait at the right time in the right place, then you just wasn't going to catch them.
No.
So it was all about grinding and persevering and cycling through your spots, and particularly the little pockets of fish, and just seeing if they were ready to be reciprocating and actually eat something.
Well, that's what we did in the end, wasn't it? We worked out a pattern, and we knew an area where we could lock in a pattern, and we smashed out the other 3. And then we filled our perch card, and we had a really good perch card. We had an average of over... We wanted an average of 45, and we had an average of 45 and a half, 46. Can't remember now. But
45.6. Yeah, was our average.
And that was perfect, wasn't it?
By anyone's standards, and I think it gets lost in reservoir predator fishing now. A 45 centimeter fish is a huge perch, and for a lot of people, it'd be the fish of a lifetime. But you need to catch 5 of them, plus bigger, to even frame in some of these competitions now.
Crazy fishing, isn't it?
It's insane. It's insane. I mean, we'll touch on, I'm sure, before the end of this, some of the big fish that was caught by the other guys, and we're talking genuine fish of a lifetime. Sort of fish that people would never see, and you have to catch them in a weekend.
Yeah, crazy fishing. So at the end of day 3, we were in third, but we knew we were in a precarious position because we were going to get overtaken unless we upped our card. However,
we was quite confident because we caught Xander in the day just perch fishing.
Well, as we were going around perch fishing, I kept stopping on Xander, didn't I? And we had 2, like bang bang.
Yeah.
And so we were quite confident we could get them. But going back to our plan, we knew we couldn't sit still because we were going to get gazumped by other teams. But also, we knew we were 2 big zander away from winning.
That's all it would have taken.
And that's how tight it got. So we started day 4 and we knew where they would be. As in, we just went looking, didn't we? We had an area where I think that other boat didn't help us. It's not their fault, but they were a bit too close. Every time I moved away from them, they kept following a little bit. And I felt that those zander there were a bit, I think they'd seen a few boats over their heads. So
yeah, just a bit they knew something was going on.
They all responded, but they wouldn't take, would they?
No, really. To be fair as well, we have to remember the water at the moment is absolutely tap water clear, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So
you're also fighting against that.
Yes, that caused us a bit of an issue, but I think we made the right decision. We then moved to another area, and then we found pelagic fish straight away. And I had one, didn't I, straight away? But it was it was like every fish I was seeing was like 100 feet away. It was horrendous. Yeah. So it was incredibly long, accurate casts, but it was very satisfying to get it right. So we had a 73, and then literally next cast, I bumped one off. Yep. This is where it's all like, oh God. And then we were working really hard, weren't we? We were working the resi really hard and trying to find fish. And then we found pike. We had a smaller Z. And then the fish just seemed to slowly switch off. Did you not get that feeling?
Yeah, definitely. I think as the day went on, you have to remember, not only was there the full competition armada out, it was the first opening day of the Angling Waters predator fishing season. So there was added pressure from lots of other boats as well. So those fish would have been hearing crashing and banging and all sorts of things going on all day. I think the longer the day got on, the more it affected more fish, and it just made it harder and harder.
Yeah, I think they wise up pretty quick, don't they? I think also the number of engines over their heads, they don't like it. Yeah. Should we tell the funny story of the British record pike?
Yeah. He was connected to it for a little while.
Yeah, so I cast at what I thought was a zander, and this blob appeared off the bottom, took my bait. I whacked into it, and I couldn't move it. And I said to Charlie, I said, I can't move this. And he looked at me and went, are you sure you're not hooked to the bottom? And then the rod tip went, I went, no, look. I said, it's so heavy, I can't do anything with it. And then it started moving off, didn't it? We got it back to 50 feet in the boat. We were watching it on the scope, and off it shot to 100 foot away. It's like, good God, what is this? So I was on it for about 5-6 minutes, and we're talking about what on earth is this? And I'm saying to Charlie, I can't control it. And I had zander gear, it's not perch gear. It's what you call light pike gear. So you can sometimes give them a bit of welly if you've got balanced tackle. And I was absolutely pulling. This rod was under full compression. And at this point, there were other boats watching as well, which was quite funny. Yeah. And then I said,
the thing that it's worth mentioning, I've fished with you a little bit now, and I've seen you connected to big fish, and that's the gravest I've seen your face. You was absolutely stone faced, and you was convinced you was hooked into something enormous.
Enormous, because I'd never felt anything like it. But then, as we're discussing it, the penny was dropping, wasn't it? And then I said,
it was about 10 or 12 minutes into the fight at this point.
Yeah, I said, Charlie, I haven't had a head shake. I said, big pike give horrendous head shakes, and this one hasn't. So then we're going, catfish? No, it can't be. And you said if it was a catfish, the tail would be hitting the braid.
You'd feel it up the line. When I've caught them on lures before, you feel the tail running up the line where they sort of spiral on it. So we sort of discounted that pretty quickly, didn't we?
And we thought the only thing it could be, it must be somehow a foul hooked big pike. So at that point, I think the penny has dropped that it wasn't the British record, because it was so heavy, just couldn't do anything with it. And got it to the surface once, and it tried to tail walk with a hook in its back. So it was like, and it was probably about, what, do you reckon, about a metre?
About a metre, maybe a little bit bigger, but it was not the Leviathan from the deep we thought it was.
No, it wasn't the monster from the deep. And once I saw that, I was trying to hoss it up, and of course, eventually the hook pulled, but it was unmanageable, but it was quite funny for a little while. But that was the story of our afternoon. Then we had another pike come off, didn't we? And then I had bangs and hits, which one of them we felt was a pike, and everyone could have been a zander. But it got very negative and very difficult. And and then we were resigned to the fact that we probably weren't going to end up in third, and we dropped down the leaderboard. So got back. Funny story though. Do you want to tell the funny story when we got back to the harbour?
Well, we was on our way. We knew roughly that if we'd have caught some upgrades and then potentially one really big zander, that we may have even won it. If we'd have caught a 70 something and then a big one,
No, mate. If we'd had 275s, we'd have won it.
Well, yeah.
If we'd had an 86 Xander, we'd have won it.
Yeah, exactly. So we needed 20 centimeters, I think, to take first. So I said to Andy, we was just pulling into the boat launch. I said, should we have a bit of fun here? I said, should we wind them up? Because they'll all be wanting to know. Because for those who don't know, the leaderboard goes dark 3 hours before the end of the competition. So nobody knows what anyone has caught for the last 3 hours. So I said, let's have some fun. Let's wind them up and give them a little bit of stick. I said, when we get in, I'm going to ask people and say, what's the record, Xander, like for Lake Challenge? And we knew well it was 85 centimeters, something like that.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, is it? But it was. And then there's just nothing. They just start when they start asking questions. Oh, we have to wait for the results now. So we worked our way through the pairs. We knew who were in contention that we know quite well. So like we worked our way through them and sort of gave them all the same spiel. And we got all of them. Every single last one of them.
They all fell for it.
It was the best fight we had all weekend without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I think we were standing next to each other, sort of suppressing giggles, waiting for the results to be read out. And when it got to it, and they announced the biggest Xander was it Dennis or Gintz had the biggest Xander? I forget now. Gintz had the biggest Xander, 85 centimeters. Then the penny dropped from low, and they all spun round and glared at us and saw that we was chuckling to ourselves and knew then that we'd had them on the wind up. We got them all of them. We got every single one of them.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That is indicative of why the Lake Challenge is such a great competition. And Andy will know. No one else knows, but I've pulled myself out of next year. I'm opting not to do any of, if not many, of the Midland boat comps next year, like the Anglia boat comps. I've got other plans, which I'll sort of discuss at a later date. But I'm going to miss Lake Challenge, not necessarily for the fishing side of it, because I feel like me and Andy could have a better day's fishing, just fishing normally. But the social side of it with everyone else there, that's what I'll miss hugely.
It's good fun, isn't it? And everyone's, I think there's a lot of guys who are good anglers. There isn't any animosity or envy at all. And the banter's getting better and better, isn't it? It's really good fun.
It helps that a lot of the same guys do the same comps. So you get like a good group of people who all know each other well. You start to learn everyone's sort of individual personalities. And it's just a good group of people. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's closed shop. So, there's definitely room for newcomers. If you fancy getting involved in any of these sort of boat comps, don't be intimidated, because the guys that do them are brilliant and the guys that organise them are brilliant. So I would highly recommend it. I highly recommend getting yourselves in for these and to experience it if you've not. I've done it for a few years now, off and on, and I like I said, I like the social side of it. I'm not as competitive as some others, so I think I that's where I lack the enthusiasm for it. But if I could just go and hang out for a weekend, I'd be much happier.
Should we talk about some of the captures from some of the competitors?
Definitely, yeah. I think we obviously touched on Gintz Xander firstly, 85 centimeters, which is just an enormous fish. I mean, what was the one we had last year?
83,
which then was a massive fish, which won biggest Xander last year. But 85 is a huge Xander, especially when you're talking about Rutland, because it wasn't all that long ago where a fish of that caliber from Rutland was just imaginary, wasn't going to happen, and it's come on sort of really, really, really quickly. So it's a testament to the stock of Xander in there, and who knows where it could be in another 2 or 3 years' time.
Well, I think it might get up to 88, 89, but the UK fish just don't grow to the sizes we have in Holland, do they?
No. I do wonder whether that's a gene thing or whether it's a food source thing.
No, it's genes, mate.
Who knows?
Genes, definitely, yeah. So there was, I can't remember his name. I'm going to get it wrong. Had the 119 point.
I know his first name, I'm probably pronounce it horrendously, was Sylvester.
That's
probably not how you pronounce it. Yeah, 119 centimeters, which is just. How big was that? The big one from Pittsford? That was enormous. Was 114, and that was massive.
No,
114 or was
that was 118 or 119.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay, so it was a similar size to that fish in length then.
Yeah, I had a 119. I had a 119 about 2 years ago, think.
Yeah.
And they
obviously at this time of year, it's not going to be its full potential of weight, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a ridiculous fish.
Again, for the UK, what's the maximum length for a pike? Probably 122, 123. I don't know.
Not much, not far past that. I wouldn't think.
I don't know.
How many fish can you think of that you've heard of are over 120? I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
The problem is, guys don't measure them; they weigh them. So
no, it's only in the comps really that people measure them. Really, 90% of the time people weigh. And then I think anything that going that way is ridiculous.
Yeah, and then again, Mikhail with his perch. Wow,
52 centimeters, which again, I mean, my fish was 47 centimeters, and it's a huge fish, and you think you'd be somewhere there or thereabouts. But I reckon, I didn't look, but there's probably 7 or 8 or 10 fish, or 7 or 8 probably bigger than that caught over the competition, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
47 and above, but being 52 centimeters, that's a true fish of a lifetime.
That's crazy. Yeah, just you just wonder if the perch on there are getting longer and longer. Don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But when you look at what we finished with last year, when we sort of battled it out with Tom and Kev, I think we ended up with 734 or 35, was it? Something like that.
I think we had 735.
Yeah.
734.
You needed over 7 meters to be in the top 5 this year.
Well, we had 721. Lucas
724, I think. Pretty sure we had 724.
I
could be wrong.
I think we had 721. I think Lucas and Mikhail had 724, who were 4th.
Maybe, yeah.
I think who was 3rd? Nikolai and Sergei.
Yeah.
They had 727 or 729. And they had an 83 Xander in the last hour. Otherwise, they'd have been 5th. That's how crazy it all was. Yep. Dennis and Gintz, I think they were 731.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I think the guys that won it was 741, I think.
744.
744.
Yeah. Which is knocking on the door of 7.5, which is just ridiculous.
Crazy lengths. Yeah. That's crazy.
It could be done. You could do it. 7.5 meters is possible next year, I think.
The thing that we found was we fished really well. We always fish really well. We have a right laugh when we're doing it, don't we? But we are very flexible during the days as well. We're able to change plan and go for something else,
be reactionary,
and make something happen. But from our perspective, we felt we were a bit unlucky not to get the kicker fish.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, we had a big pike with a 113, which is a huge pike. You could have caught a 118, 190, but it would only give you another 6 centimeters. But yeah, especially the Xander, I think we were unlucky we didn't get a good one, or even a couple of good ones.
I think we were unlucky on that second day because we tried to catch them really shallow, and something was just a bit weird. Obviously, the tech threw us out, and I think once we sorted out that problem, we found them and caught them real quick. Imagine what we'd have caught during the day; we'd have smashed it. But that's my fault for not getting it sorted in time. But hey ho, lessons learned.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, mate. So next year, I don't know what's happening with Lake Challenge from my own perspective, because obviously you've bailed on me.
I have. Yeah.
It's
run away with the tail to my legs. No, I'm finishing on a high. So my last 3 competition entries I had the first in Lake Challenge with last year. I had a 5th in Pike Maniacs with Lee, and now a 5th with you. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stick at that and back out for a little while.
Yeah, good idea, mate. Yeah, good idea. No, we've decided that we're going to go pike fishing, aren't we, next? So
a bit more of a relaxed one.
Because we sat there and went, the only time we've pleasure fished was in the Lake District, and we had a right laugh.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing to do. All right, bud, what's your plans for the next couple of weeks?
Not much. I'm gonna get back out on the river once it cools down a little bit and it sort of feels a bit more fishy. Need to get back into these perch, the ones I was sort of picking up last year. And then in September, I've got a bit of time off, a few days, and I'm going to head down. I'm going to definitely for a day, maybe 2 days. Going to go and head down to the Southampton boat show, just for a little look of what's going on. Oh, also I've got the the kayak competition on Derwent in, well, Jesus, under 2 weeks now. So that's
that'd be
creeping
good.
up quick.
Yeah.
That'd be. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Done a 20-pounder over the weekend while me and you were in Rutland.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was the biggest fish that's come out of there. Yeah, as far as we know. So it'll be interesting what the kayak boys are into.
Yeah, they'll find them. They're really good, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're very good.
Absolutely.
All
You
right,
got some
buddy.
bits coming up, mate, haven't you?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. This podcast goes out Thursday, which will be the, I have no idea, 5th?
No, me neither. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do one more.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a break because obviously I'll be
Yeah.
in Ireland with the Worlds. So
Yeah.
we'll have a break for probably a month. And
Yeah.
then I think we'll get the guys
Revisit.
together and we'll regroup and then hit it hard again for probably up to Christmas, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got that. Then I've got my lure battle on the 17th with Aid Mason, and that's about as much as we can say about that.
I'm seeing some text coming across about lure battle now, so interesting. I can't divulge them, but I'll look at them after.
It's top secret, mate. And then obviously I'm away in Ireland, and but we'll talk about that before it happens. Yeah, it'll be good. Very excited.
Cool.
And we've got LAS event at the weekend as well. We've got Xander Cup on Saturday, so that'll be good. Looking forward to that. Going to go and do a bit of a pre-fishing tomorrow. Try not to hook too many. But work out where they are and
cut the hook points off, mate. Yeah.
Well, you know what I like to. I get a couple to see what they're responding to, and then leave them alone and just go and find them and to go from there. But yeah, all right, bud. Right, we're going to wrap this section up. I got Tom Moir's going to visit me on the casting couch, and and then we've got a bit from Jamie Potts as well, who's going to talk about the upcoming LAS boat events. So that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, brilliant.
Cool. All right, bud. I'll catch you later.
All right, I'll leave you to it. Cheers, mate.
Okay, I managed to prize him out of the lure lab.
Yes.
And he, I'll give away a little secret here. Whilst me and Charlie were doing the lake challenge, I had locked Tom out of the house. And it's raining.
I'm damp.
And he's wet.
I'm damp.
So he's probably glaring at me now going...
Now I know why Alex does this.
Yeah. I am going to buy him a curry.
Yeah, that's better.
To try and get myself out of the shite with him. But yes, I do apologise. But you did come to the wrong door. I did leave the other one unlocked for you, but we won't go there. Anyway, right. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We have got something great planned.
Yes.
Yeah, it's earth-shattering.
It's amazing.
But before we get to that, shall we go to Mr. Jamie Potts?
Yes. Yes, for some LAS.
Yeah, so Jamie Potts is the boat competition organiser for the Lure Angler Society, and he's put together a little video or two for us whilst he was fishing for roach.
Oh.
And he caught a different species, not roach. But I'll let Jamie explain. So
Awesome.
Let's go.
Let's
Mr.
watch.
Potts.
How you doing, guys? It's Jamie Potts here, LAS boat event organiser. Well, trying to be anyway. Just to let you know, we've got a few competitions in the running. So the reason why I'm looking that way a little bit is I'm fishing for some roach on the Severn at the moment. I'm trying this spot out. Not sure if there's any here. I see a few fish topping, but the tip keeps tapping. I've only just started. It's a bit late in the day, really, but I just fancied a go on the bread. I've got the bread there. Anyway, back to what I was trying to say. We've got a few competitions coming up. We've got the Xander Cup, we've got a couple of boats left. I think there's 32, 33 boats sold at the moment. And that's on the 7th of September, so not long for that one. But if you want to get involved, we've got sponsors for that. And there's trophies for the main trophies only for members of the LAS, but there is other trophies as well, which we've had done for everybody. There's a few prizes. Then we've got the Predator Cup, which is a 2-week event. It's obviously the same thing with a trophy, but we have other trophies as well, and we've got some good sponsors for that. Rapala have just come on board, and a few others. We've got Westin, some of the big names there now, and also we've also got some of the good shops as well involved, and you'll see that on the flyers when you have a look. But there's 12 bouts left for that one. That's a whole weekend event, £200 for the whole weekend. That's for 2 people, and that's basically £50 each a day, which is really cheap for a boat competition, and with some great prizes. And then following on from that, we'll have the Pike Cup, but that's all sold out. And that was done on a draw basis. I think there might be a boat coming available for some of the people who reserved, and that'll come apparent soon. And then we've got the Perch Cup coming up, and hopefully that'll be a sellout as well. So just need your help on the Predator Cup. It's a 2-day event, and it'll be fantastic. It's the right time of year to catch quite a lot of fish, so get involved. It's all right, I keep getting a little twitch on my rod there. Get involved because you're going to enjoy it. I know you will. Anyway, all the best. Any questions, get in touch with me through the LAS. We've obviously got the Facebook page, but you can get in touch with me, have a chat with me. I find it very difficult to do videos and stuff like that. I'm not a great talker, but if I can help you on text or whatever, or on the phone, we can get you involved, and that'd be great. So I'll speak to you all soon. All the best. Yes, so like I say, I'm pretty rubbish at doing videos. I forgot to mention that the Xander Cup's at Grapham, the Predator Cup is at Rutland, the Pike Cup is at Chew Valley, and the Perch Cup is at Rutland. So there you go. Add that on. It was a good job that I did actually watch the rod then, because we nailed one. So anyway, I shall carry on with this and hopefully see some of you guys soon.
So Jamie, thanks for that. And I think over the next few weeks, if we get organised, we'll have more members of the LAS on. I know we need to get Emma Sarah Evans back on. That'd be cool because she's organising the bank competitions. The one issue we have, which we mentioned with the piece with Charlie, is we'll probably do one more. Then we're going to have about a month off because of all the things that are happening. So things might be slightly out of kilter, but hey ho, we'll see what we can do.
That month off, it's all changing, isn't it?
Do you know what? You are a podcast genius. That smooth, you tape it into
transition.
The transition.
So
what we talk about is it's actually September.
Yep.
Start of September used to be a time when fishing kind of kicked in for lots of species, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we've had some Indian summers.
Had some bonkers weather.
Yeah.
And you look at it, I mean, just now.
Traditionally, the last 3 or 4 years, the Septembers have been really hot.
Yeah, yeah.
But it feels different now.
It feels different this year. It feels like September's meant to be September again. And I think I missed a summer. I don't remember a summer.
It was hot. It's because you were stuck in the lure lab making these things about this big, and you were doing some LRFing, which was a bit a bit weird.
I've got tan line, I suppose.
Got a tan line, yeah. Anyway, so I always used to think that the bream fishing was really good in September. The pike fishing was just starting. You could still catch tench. The roach fishing was starting to turn on. It felt like the fish would sense the seasons are changing, and they feed, basically. I don't know what anyone else thinks. I don't know what you think, but it just feels like September's probably one of the best months to go fishing for general fish.
Yeah, so I've not really fished the local. I think I've fished it 3 times since the season opened, which is like crazy. Last year I was down all the time. I was taking fishing for rudd and other species with lures, but this year it just hasn't felt like it's going to happen. But then again, I haven't really been out much at all. I don't know. It's just gone by. It's just disappeared.
No, but it's been a hot summer, hasn't it? And the river you're talking about is full of weed.
Yeah,
but
it's not nice.
And it's not going to do. I mean, you wouldn't want to go pike fishing this time of year because it'd be bonkers because there's low oxygen levels. The weed level's very high, which is extracting even more oxygen out of the water. Beyond very unfair to the pike.
Yeah, I think this time last year, I was doing a lot more float tubing, and at night time.
But you were choosing rivers that were a bit deeper, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And you were targeting perch.
Yeah, perch and Xanders.
Yeah. You're not going to catch big perch off here, are you? That's the problem.
No, not. It's weird because it does hold them at the extremities of the stretch, but they've just everything's just gone blur in the middle.
They're not getting bigger, are they? Either?
No,
That's
sort of £2 is going to be
Yeah.
a
Okay,
choice.
so let's imagine you're starting your campaign over the next couple of weeks, and you're going to target rivers, drains that are going to be quite clear because the water level is the clarity is very good, isn't it? Because of all the weed. We're getting a bit of rain now, but not enough to flush them out. So it will freshen the water, but it won't change the conditions. You're going to be targeting perch. How would you go about it?
Probably last light. Last light cast into features, whether it be man-made or pockets in the weed.
That's interesting. So you didn't go for style of bait fishing first. You went for time of day.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, time of day. Get out there. Sort of that afternoon as the sun's going over and going down, that's when I'll sort of do it. I think I've just spent so many hours fruitless fishing that I've just gone, you know what, I would actually I'll just save it and go last light.
So
I don't do first light because I don't go there.
You've ruined my question. I was about to say, is first thing in the morning better for perch or last thing in the day? But because you're a lazy bastard, you think like self-fulfilling prophecy. No, not lazy, but I know what you mean. It gets to a point where you go, I don't want to get up.
Yeah, because in the winter, I will go fishing whenever. So once it sort of gets colder, I will go fishing at any time of day because I'm confident in that. But in these conditions, I'm much more of just grab an hour of last light, go to where I know they're going to, or I assume or expect them to be, and just fish it.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh yeah, I like that.
I do first light on the paddleboard when I'm fishing the bigger rivers on the paddleboard. I do first light then.
My pike head, you see, it's always first thing.
Yeah.
This time of year, you get a feeding pattern. It's very, particularly if you go back in the day using dead baits, there'll be a distinct feeding pattern on all these drains. Would all be different. It was quite incredible, but they'd all be in the morning.
Yeah.
And some were literally as the sun was popping over the horizon. You get a run straight away. That'll be it.
Yeah.
First hour. Other drains, 10 o'clock. We were catching zander at different times as well, and you could actually set your clock by it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And I think with lures, if you could find the right area, and if these fish, they don't exist anymore, but if they did, you'd, now knowing what I know, annihilate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it, isn't it? I think you can induce a take with a lure.
With the skills we got now and the lures we've got now, the knowledge, definitely, yeah.
Any fish, as long as you put that lure past it, you've got a very high chance of it taken.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the way I sort of, my mindset is on the fishing. I've just got to get that past. I don't really use the lure to draw them in. I'm trying to actually hit the fish where they are rather than try and draw them out.
Yeah.
But horses for courses.
So what lures would you use?
Last light, it's going to be top water. Top water is going to be flukes, weightless flukes. So having them dart and pop. So that last light fry smash that you get from the perch, that's what I'm going to imitate. And a lot of times, if I've got a fluke rod, you can draw them up. So I've drawn fish out of 6 foot of water, and I can see on top, and there's nothing there, but you're just working over holes in the weed, and they come up and hit the lure. But especially if I'm fishing around structure, you do get those fish hitting fry around boats and around the walls, and that's a perfect time just to put whatever you're doing down, pick up the fluke rod, chuck that out.
Yeah. What about using the frog?
Frog, that's more of a steady retrieve for me.
But would you use it this time of year over the top of the weed?
I'd actually say that's more of a first light for me. Isn't that
weird? Go.
But I don't know. But that's why I don't. It's not that. That's not what I'm going to be using. But what I have done recently, I'm liking the frog as a bottom bait. How mental is that? Yeah. This year, sort of at the close season, I was fishing the 35mm frog, tiny, as a bottom bait, and get some really good results. I think the profile as a bottom bait is really good as well.
Were you fishing it with quite quick?
Yes. So sounds weird. Whacking the slack. So hitting the slack line and then that pops it up, and then it falls on a slack line. I think that induces a lot of takes.
Yeah.
Having that rather than that steady rise and drop, which does work, but not as much as I think that slack.
Yeah.
That slack line.
Yeah. And that's interesting because I find on the bigger waters that I fish in the summer, in the autumn, I really struggle sometimes with creature baits and stick baits, and then suddenly there's a switch. And I'm experimenting all the time, as I showed you downstairs, just trying to get the perch in particular to respond in a certain way, because there is a trigger, and you've just got to work out what the trigger is on your water to get those fish to respond. And sometimes it's not obvious, and sometimes it's the most obvious thing in the world that you go way beyond and then try all these different wacky techniques. Nothing works, and then when you come back to basics, you go, "Oh, that works. Why didn't I do that in the first place?"
I'm thinking of nedding a lot more this year. Not necessarily that slow negative ned, but actually using those ned hooks, ned rigs again. And I don't use the K2 enough. And that's a fantastic Ned lure. It's my thin profile, narrow profile, long antenna, and on a Ned, it's just great. But I've just gone. You go in circles, don't you? You go, oh, what we're going to do this, and you go, oh, so last year it was mostly Texas and drop shot for me, but this year I think I'm going to go. I just want a Ned.
I'll tell you what I just started doing, and I haven't done it again. Is on a Ned rig, I put a little Wolf Creek shad, 8 centimetre one. It worked beautifully because you had that fall, you could hold it, and then you could ping it back up again, like whacking the slack, like you said, get that jigging motion. And I think they liked the speed it fell at. It just kind of...
The K2. So the reason I really want to fish the K2 a bit more, it's got that nice slim profile, but with the Ned and popping it off the bottom, the antennas, so they're long antennas, and I designed the ends of them to have this sort of shape, so that when it comes to the water, they splay out and wiggle, but then when it hits the bottom, they'll come in with a nice secondary motion, and I think a lot of times that those tiny little motions is what triggers a bite, and so that's. I'm looking forward to it. So
hey, I didn't know you did that. That's a good thing to know, because you can build that into your technique and your approach. Yeah. So you're going to play with it.
I'm going to play with it. Going to fish it a lot more. So I fished it back in the day, I suppose. But then Craw 21 always takes over. That's like my little crayfish imitation. But the K2. Yeah, I had some nice fishing it last year. Fishing it on Chebs and Texas, but I just think Ned, if we get a nice clear bottom, if the weather does what it should do,
that's the key.
If we get a nice flush through and you've got the makeup of the bottom of the river is perfect, it would just Ned would be brilliant. But last year there was still weed up until. Well past December.
On this river out here, it's not just the weed though, is it? It's the willow branches and the tampons and the dog walker bags, dog poo bags. It's like
dog poo bags.
Oh, what have I hook now? And you need that what's it called? The hidden hook, the offset hook.
Yeah.
Your exposed hooks are just game over. Yeah. Even drop shot, and it's like, oh God, retie again.
And mitten crab. I had a mitten crab last year on a drop shot.
Don't show off.
I mean. It's like mitten crabs won't affect me. I'm lure fishing on a drop shot, like that much drop and mitten crab. Leave it.
Yeah. Talking of mitten crabs. Talking of knobs. No, it's not. Let's go to Bradley.
Yes.
Right. So I've been incredibly busy. So this is a very last minute clip, and I've got for you today a series of jerkbaits. So this is probably going to be a bit awkward to focus on, but I'll get some close-ups. We've got there just a few of my personal favourite jerkbaits, because the reason I'm going to show you these today is because it's something that seems to get very little use by the masses. They're not a secret, they're nothing new, but just seems to be not a great deal of people taken to these. It's like they're called jerk baits. Some people know them as twitch baits because obviously in the UK the most commonly used lure that's referred to as a jerk bait is going to be your big pike sort of glide bait jerk baits. But these are also known as jerk baits, and these are more of a perch sort of size. You can get chub on them too, zander, even pike as well. People often use them for bass. I think that's probably one of the most common uses in the UK is using them for bass. And here's some favourites. So first up, and probably the most affordable on the list, is going to be this one. This is the Strike King KVD 200, and it's, I forget the exact size of it. I think it might be a 110, like 110 millimeters, but I may be wrong on that. It's either a 110 or 4 inch. It's around the 4 inch-ish sort of mark. It's got two very good quality, very sharp hooks. This one's seen a few fish, fair few fish already, and the hooks are still super sharp. I've not sharpened them at all myself. So good quality hooks, very affordable. That's one thing I've really got to give to Strike King. Like, their hard baits are incredibly affordable compared to some of the brands, and an absolute brilliant action on top of it. So let's see if I can get a focus on it for you. There we go. That's the Strike King KVD 200. Now second up, and it's going to be no shocker that I've included one from this brand, because I like certain friends know I absolutely love the lures by this brand, and this is a new size of an existing lure. This is the Find a Jerk 125, so it's a 5 inch jerkbait, and this is by Mollix. So there we are, the Mollix Find a Jerk 125. It's an absolutely brilliant colour on that. Brilliant hooks again. This is a bit more on the more expensive side of things, but still not too unreasonable. There's a much more expensive one of this in the list for you to check out. So next up we have, I think this is called is it the Super Shadow Wrap or something like that? This Rapala one. It's got a nice feathered treble on the back. Not that you can see it right now, but there we go. And a nice feather treble on the back. Brilliant finishes on them again. Incredible action, and sort of mid-priced kind of jerkbait. And this one's seen a lot of fish. It's like you probably can't pick it up on the footage, but it is very dinged up. Loads of teeth marks in it. Loads of marks where the perch have grabbed it. Chub as well. And yeah, I've had this one a while and it's been brilliant. So this next one here is the Westin Jerkbite. So this one is fairly new on the scene, but it's got very clear inspiration from the next one I'm going to show you. I wouldn't say it's a complete one-for-one copy, but it's definitely taken inspiration from the next one. And as you can see in the body shape and swoop and back there, I'll get some close-ups in a minute. But this one's also not ridiculously priced. It's more in that mid sort of price range, and that is the Westin Jerkbite. And last but not least, the most expensive of the bunch, but also the most sought after and most successful, the US bass fishing scene. Like this, you can't go and look at one of the pros' boats during like your springtime or even winter and maybe late autumn and not see one of these tied on. But they've usually, even if they're not sponsored by the brand, they've usually got some on the boat. They're that popular over there, and that is the Mega Bass Vision 110. Now the Vision 110 comes in a few guides. This is the Vision 110 Junior. So it's the slightly smaller size. I do say slightly. I think the full size one's about 11.5 centimeters. This one is 9.5 centimeters, I believe. And this is the slightly shallower diving one. If I could get some close-ups again. Okay, the Vision 110 Junior. It's like a sexy shad colour, that's called. And like with that yellow stripe down the side, absolutely brilliant. And it has a few variations. This is the Vision 110 plus 1. It's the same jerkbait but a slightly deeper diving. There is a Vision 110 plus 2 as well for even deeper diving, but I don't have one of those. But that is the Megabass Vision 110, and if you can find them in the UK, they're usually around £30. They are very expensive, but absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't used any of these sort of jerkbaits before, go and try them out, especially as we start getting closer to the colder weather in the winter. And yeah, see you in the next one.
Sorry, Brad, I just couldn't resist, but I was in my mind that I had to get your clip in, so it just kind of seemed like a way in.
Seamless.
He's going to get his own back.
Yeah, of course.
He'll abuse me on social media and send me a load of weird stuff like he normally does. He's got a brilliant sense of humour, and he sends me this stuff, and I kind of go, "So funny." That's what I like about it. It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, guys, you won't have realised this. We had a few teething problems behind the scenes, and Andy's trying to do 101 things at once and running around like a nutter. Tom, bless him, has put up with me having tantrums in the podcast studio, so thank you very much.
That's all right.
But I think we need to go.
Yes.
I think I'm over hungry. I think I'm hangry.
You're hangry.
I think I'm
You got
hangry.
hangry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the LAS Stand Cup at the weekend. Did mention it with Charlie. That would be good. So it'd be nice to see the guys there. What have you got planned for the next couple of weeks before we go?
Oh, I am. I'm down to Paynton and Brixham this weekend. So we're going to be meeting up with some FFS customers.
What? FFS LRF wins.
Yeah, FFS Nerfing friends. So I've got that. What else have I got?
Do you all drink pale ale? And
I
I
drank
need
too
to
much.
country music or something.
Yeah, I drank too much last night. It's probably one a bit flat today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are you preparing for your lurfing FFS
Yeah.
friend
Yeah.
reunion?
It's going to be a hell of a drive, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
It's
How
gonna
many
be
guys turning up?
I don't know. I've got
Are you the Messiah?
no, I'm just a very naughty boy.
Oh, it's Tom Moir. No, it's not Tom Moir. It's Tom Moir.
Yeah. No, so I've got that, and I've got some more tubes. So I've got the tiny lures, and I've got this tube mold that I showed you the other day.
Yes. Now
So-
Tom is the ultimate geek.
Yeah,
He-
proper geek.
He showed me this mold, and you have. How does your brain work? It's amazing how you've designed that.
It's I don't
Mate,
know.
I lay awake at night thinking about sex, and you lay awake at night thinking about making molds.
I do.
Yeah, that's why I'll never be any good at this. I'll get too distracted. But
No.
you're amazing.
Yeah,
You've even made it. What? Your aquarium that blew my mind the other day.
yeah, I made a new shrimp tank, which
Why?
because it's awesome. It's awesome, but I think one of the things behind that, and again, sorry, this is going off topic.
No,
but
I think it's brilliant.
because of the way I design a lot of stuff on CAD, I've actually designed a new a filter system for it. So with shrimp, you need to have with a species of shrimp, you need to drop the pH down to like 5.5 or 6.0 or below 6. And to do that, you have a buffering substrate, which drops the acidity level of the water. But you have to.
Are you
that.
still with us? Because I've
Yeah.
I've lost about a minute ago.
So I've designed a new filter which incorporates this along with other clever bits and pieces.
So I'm not giving away trade secrets, but the other day around his house, he was showing me his design package on his computer. Wow, I wouldn't even know where to start. It was incredible, mate. You are something else. It's brilliant how you do things, and I think people need to get to know Tom a bit more and to work out. Your brain is unbelievable how you're working it out. It's incredible.
It's
good. I love it. It's really good. There was something I was going to say as well. Oh yeah, have you fixed my bow mount yet?
Oh shit! No, I forgot about that.
Yeah, come on, hurry up! I need that. I'm spare.
I'll take that apart this weekend and
See,
fix
he's
it.
going to have a play with that. It's incredible.
Nice. Someone put it together. Someone made it. Someone put it together. So I'll be able to take it apart. And
Mate, this is what I'm really enjoying most about my fishing at the minute. Right, you meet so many different people from so many different walks of life who are into so many different things. I love it. I mean, me and Charlie touched on it, Lake Challenge. Brilliant.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, the banter it's brilliant. It's like we get there. I was nearly late getting the boat set up on Saturday because everybody wanted to say hello.
Yeah.
And to me, that means more than fishing. It was awesome. And I felt so rude for some people. I had to say, I can't stop because.
Oh, you've changed.
I'm still not setting the boat up. No, I think it's doing this. It's getting out there, being successful in things, but you get your face known, don't you? And I think people just want to say hello. And I tell you what, it's bloody lovely, isn't it? And you doing your FFS meetups, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, the meetups are great, and especially going to other people's areas and meeting up and seeing how they fish and getting ideas and things off of them.
I mean, I'm going to change topic, but it's linked. When we give those lads we see fishing in the lures, I've got to thank Bradley. Bradley's given me a load of baits. I know Darren Simpkins is going to get me some. So guys out there, if you've got any, they want little plastics. If you've got any old little shads and things, or even anything that's kind of this size, they love checking those, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Normally into the trees, but
it's what they're going to. Yeah, I remember being that age. You just want to catch fish. I was never into. I've got to catch the biggest because the biggest will come along at some point.
The biggest was that for yourself was that big guy. And that's the beauty of fishing, isn't it? And how nice are they?
They're good kids.
They're
good
over
kids.
the moon when they go, oh, thank you. And when they see you next, they're kind of rushing up.
Yeah.
It is cool. I like it. And I think that's something else that this whole community has got such a positive buzz about it that I think more and more people are fishing, more and more people are lure fishing, and the more that we can get the kids involved, it's just amazing, isn't it? It is good. So,
Next generation.
Guys, if you've got any spare baits, get in touch with us and we'll pump them out. That sounds really bad. We'll hand them out.
Yes.
See my brain. It's not the same as yours.
No,
Different levels. Yeah. But no, that is pretty good. But I've nearly run out of baits.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've still got loads of lures, so I'll bring those down.
Yeah.
Not the ones I make, but the ones I bought.
I
was always
they're not
searching
really
for
using
the
their
ones.
vessels yet because they're not at that level. They want to be chucking shads, don't they? And just reeling them back in because they like to be active.
Yeah.
Otherwise they'll get bored. Yeah, but it's good. Right, let's bugger off.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, we had Bradley, haven't we? My brain's a mess this week.
Yeah, we've done
all
that.
over the place. Right, let's go have a curry because I am ultra hungry.
Toodle bye.